Hi, it's Xavier. Guess where? Yep, down the bottom of the garden. And it's finally time to get to my larches. Hopefully you've had a good look at the Dawn Redwood video, and hopefully that managed to fill some gaps. But yeah, no, it's finally time to get on to the larch, and this will be the first pruning of 3 that will take place through the growing season. And this will be the first time that I've shown anyone really my signature tree. This was the first ever larch that I bought as a sapling, and it used to be upright. I bought it in 2001, 20 others planted in pots. I've talked about them before, but this is the premium one. I call it the old man. I wonder why. It'll be looking like me pretty soon, I should think, or I'll be looking like it. But this one has already been in this pot for many years. It's probably, as far as I'm going to be concerned, at its final stages now, so it's just about sorting out tertiary branches and pruning. So I'll run through this one. There's a little bit of weeding to do. It's been in this pot for a couple of years, so well overdue a repot, I would suggest, because the larch roots grow like weeds. And if anyone notices, I've got a Denver Broncos t-shirt. I don't follow the Denver Broncos, but it was given to me by my daughter when she came back. I'm actually a Patriots fan, and not because they kept winning everything. I've been Patriots for 20 years, if that means anything to anybody. But Grogan, someone called Grogan, he used to be the quarterback. Anyway, right, so with larch, it's relatively straightforward actually. We'll zone in on this so you can see it better. As I say, this has already got got your main trunk, got your primary branch coming off it, and then here clearly secondary is coming off, and then what we're now doing is looking to form your tertiaries. And with these, all I want is nice and compact. So when you look on the actual larch needle itself, you see little brown buds, and what you're looking to do is what, 2 there, then there, then there, then there, then there, and they progressively go out, and I think the internal distance will progressively get shorter the further out it goes. If you're in development and this is you're looking to get a primary or a secondary branch, then you would let this grow out, because what you want is thickness, and then each of those little buds would send out little shoots later in the year. But in this case, where all I want is to get that tight ramified growth, I want something where it's got short internodal distance and then splits into 2, which it does there. So I'll take it back, try not to cut the little leaf mass, and then the same with this one. So hopefully what we'll get with this is you've got 1, 2 coming out from here. From that point that I've cut, I want to get 2 more coming out. I'm looking to try and fill this area. So the second one, again, we've got brown bud there and there, quite tight, quite close. That means it'll give me good, and there's also another one there. So it's a choice of 3. In this case, I'm actually going to go out to the 3rd one. And I'm going to go around. Now this is actually a relatively easy one to do the pruning for, because all I'm doing is taking the growth back. But if, for example, and this happens with younger trees, you start back here and you're looking for those little latent buds, and you see nothing, and sometimes you can end up here before you see a big brown latent bud. Well, that internodal distance is massive, and if you're high up the tree, you don't want that. So what you would do in that case is actually you would cut right back to just above where the whorl, WHORL, starts, and that will cause the 2 buds that are right at the base there to activate, and hopefully you'll get 2 shoots coming out in your second flush. Looking in this one, 1 bud on the left there, and 2 there, so I've got same thing working back here. Now because it's going to the back of the tree, I may actually look at trying to get some more height up here, so looking for latent buds that are relatively close. I actually don't see anything. I want to take it upwards. No, so this is one of the cases where there's no latent buds until halfway up that. Bearing in mind it's the final part, I'm going to take it all the way back to the whorl, and just above that, take the whole lot off. Again, look at this. Got one very green. Sometimes they're hard to see, but it's still too far up, so I'll keep that tight. And to be fair, this one is pretty well all about bringing it always back to the base whorls, and you don't always get on the second flush the two from one scenario. Here's a good case. If you look, I don't know if you can see. Got a bud there, little whorl there, and a little bit further up, got another one in there, just there. So I'll cut just above there, and hopefully I'll get two coming out, because what I actually want this to do is to come further out and actually get wider and bigger. But you've got little ones like this that haven't yet gone out, leave it, follow around. I tend not to do any big pruning here. We've got a couple that still waiting to come out. Hopefully we'll see them flush out. Looking towards the back, it look like we've got a whorl there. Yeah, so the whorl there. The next whorl's quite a distance on. So sometimes they're hard to see, but there's one there. There's one there actually, yeah. Okay. And with the larch, I do the wiring for larches in the November. So I've actually, the wire that I use has already come off these. You can do it in the spring, but as you imagine with this growth, if you've wired the tree, it can be pretty hard to get any wire off again. So here at the back, if I want to bring more out, I'm actually happy. The internodal distance is actually going to be about 1 centimetre there. There's two buds together. So I'm going to try those. I actually want to, as I say, I want to try and give this a bit more. I want to let the tree actually grow a little bit. Because in the end, that's what trees want to do, and if you don't let them grow, they'll actually kick the bucket, so to speak, I've found. Again, looking closely, bud close in, bud there. So that's that pad completed. Nothing to do there, and I'm now going to go around and continue to do with this one. I always find larch so relaxing, because you can get a third, normally get a third flush. You can actually get two sets of ramification on this if the actual buds respond and the latent buds respond. So it's one of those trees where you can get an awful lot of growth and apparent maturity coming out of it, just because of the flushes you get. So, which is why you can also say, do you know what? I haven't got any buds here I like. I'll take it all the way back to the whorl. So I'll take that one all the way back. So now, as I say, come the end of July, I'll be doing this process again. Oh, we've got two lovely buds there. Close in. You can wire if you want, but as I say, it's pretty easy to cause damage to these fronds, so you're better off. This is just about cutting to wherever the I do love larch, you can tell that, cutting to the bud points. Okay, so I'll come back to when this one's near the finish. Everyone's favourite, let's get some of these Scottish weeds out. Probably here sulking after the game against Ukraine. If there's any Welsh weeds here, can't see them, they're too busy partying, I should imagine. We'll just continue to tidy it up. Now, as Nigel would say, this is quite relaxing when there's little clumps, but they're not everywhere. Even the birds are agreeing with me by the look of it, because they're saying worm time, I imagine. So, here we go. Give it a quick 360. Hopefully you can get a good enough see of it, but yeah, 21 years old. That's when I was practicing doing a little bit of deadwood with it. It's sort of gone alright, I just need to bleach that a bit. Yeah, so anyway. So that's the old man. So now I'm going to take this old man and we're going to go to the next one. Okay, so this next one was again from a batch. I bought a batch of larch saplings in 2014 or 2015, and some went into pots, some went into the nursery beds, and some went straight into bonsai dishes. I think this spent 2 or 3 years at least in a plastic training pot, and then I transferred it to this a couple of years ago, and absolutely incredible amount of ramification this has got. You can see the way they're forming. It's going to be beautiful. So I'm going to keep it all nice and tight and just do exactly what I did, to be fair, with the last tree. So you can watch along while I do this. And if Nigel's watching, I'm sure the sound of sirens has probably made him feel an awful lot better. So I know he likes to have sirens at the back of his videos. And again with this one, I'm not really looking to develop any extra great any branch thickness or anything. This is just now about pruning back to shape. But what you have got an example here for the size of the tree. This is the first point. There's 2 buds either side here, and then you've got a good centimetre there. Bearing in mind it's at the upper third of the tree, there's an opportunity here, because I've done it with the other one, to actually push the size out a little bit. So I'm going to actually, this time, the last few years I've cut them back tight. I end up doing this every year and then end up going, oh no I won't, I'll cut it back tight. So let's get to the bottom so we can see where we're going to be by the time we get to there. And also the other thing you notice, it's like here, don't know if you see, there's actually 2 branches, but the way they are in the current orientation, it's actually moving in. I know that I've got the ability, I can wire these 2 out in the November time. So my pruning will have that in mind. I just want to have reasonable internodes, because I know that that's actually going to be out like that. And they don't all respond the same. Some, just like here, it's a shame. There's the first buds there. There's no point cutting to a single bud, because all you can do is get this length and then another length. You want another bud relatively close to it, and for some reason there isn't. So the next bud isn't till up here, which isn't going to be in keeping the tree. So in this case I've got no option but to take it back and hope that the second flush, which means I'm going to take this one back as well, I'm hoping that the second flush will cause both of those to activate. Sometimes what happens is either there's no activation, or only one side activates. So okay, the process definitely isn't foolproof. I might actually try and push this out a bit. There's a bud centimetre out. What I want is one in closer, but there isn't one in closer. So I'm going to give length. It's the lowest, so I'm going to do that for this. And I think the hardest thing I find with these is being real with yourself and recognising the scale of the tree, you can quickly tell if your latent bud points are wrong for the size of the tree you're trying to build. Which is why you'll often find with this, you keep going back. Again, same here, it's nearly 1.5 centimetres before you get the next bud. So that's having to go back again, and hopefully something will come from the second flush. Whereas this one, you've got a bud there and a bud there. So out of 3, 4 I looked at, there's only one of them that actually produced the buds that I wanted in the position I wanted. Because that's there, that means I'm going to have to bring this one back further. Because otherwise it's going to overshadow the... Okay, so I'm going to continue to do that anyway. It's nearly as exciting as watching paint dry. Oh, and that's that one done for another... Lovely. Absolutely love this one. Some good layers. Nothing like what it looked like when it started, but relatively straightforward to do. Larch is so easy to work with. It's like working with oak, but at least with larch you get 3 attempts at pruning through the year. 4 if you count the pre-spring flush. So it can keep you busy, larch. So if you have a few larch, that'll keep you busy throughout the year. Anyway, let's go to the next one, which is a tree under development.